And by 2008, he had raised the company's annual revenue 300%. Gary was a pioneer in recognizing the impact the web can have in boosting sales for a company. When everybody was still wondering how to deal with social media, he realized the best way to interact with consumers is helping them on a significant level.
You know, Wine Library's Twitter account and Facebook account engaging with actual customers, that context that you create with a customer matters when they're buying. And so, really, it's no different than push media, no different than television, print, radio. The only difference is instead of pushing, you're pulling. But it's the same end result. We're building impressions that convert in the aisle when people are making buying decisions, whether that's in the aisle of an actual store or ordering something online, wherever it is. It's really, a lot of people have heard the term content is king. To me, context is the real powerful world. When you really create context with the user, of course there's business. I've been able to sell millions of dollars of wine because I've answered their tweets and emails because we have a contextual relationship. They don't view me as just a logo. And so there's an enormous opportunity to monetize. The problem is everybody just thinks they can make content, push it out, and be done with it. That's when it starts. That's the starting point.
In 2005, Gary launched Wine Library TV, the video blog he created to review, critique, and educate on wine. With the tagline, "Changing the Wine World," an unpretentious approach to a historically sophisticated subject. As the audience grew and word spread of his informal and unorthodox approaches to discussing wine, Gary made numerous national television appearances as a wine expert.
Is the host of Wine Library TV, a very popular video blog that's been featured in the Wall Street Journal and Time Magazine. His new book is called 101 Wines Guaranteed to Inspire, Delight, and Bring Thunder to Your World. Please welcome Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah, so, you know, it was 2005. I started seeing these videos pop up. YouTube was really sitting in my gut. I'm like, holy crap, this site is going to be big. And I just really felt like there was an opportunity to talk to people about wine in a different way. Wine has nothing interesting on television. And I just felt like I was the guy. You know, I knew a lot about wine. I was passionate about wine. And I created it because I thought there was a need. It scratched my own itch. I wanted to build something that couldn't be taken away from me. Building my own brand can't be taken away from me. And I just started pumping it out. And it worked right from the beginning, but it took time to build an audience. The content was good. I cared about my audience, the community, like I said earlier. And it grew and it grew and it grew. But I feel like in the last year it became stale. You know, it was awesome for 2006. But it was 2011, late 2010, and I knew I needed to change. I'm bullish on mobile. You know, how far is anybody here away from their cell phone at any time? People sleep with that damn thing. I mean, we're becoming robotic with our cell phones. So mobile's intense, it's important. I felt like the videos were running a little long at 20 and 30 minutes, so I made it shorter. Plus, I wanted to help people shop. So now when you watch a show on your computer or your phone, you can add something to your wish list, and you basically get it into your wish list. And now when you go shopping, you can take out your phone and be like, hey, do you have this? Which is really helping people shop. And so I wanted to solve a problem. Wine shopping is hard. You know how you guys buy wine? How everybody through this camera buys wine? They look at the label, they look at the price, or they look at the rating when in a store, 90 points, and they grab it. That's it. Label or the rating. And so I feel like I have so many people watching. If they felt like they were excited about the wine, instead of what they used to do, which is write it down or email themselves, now I made it an app. The app is on iPhone now. It's Android's just a couple weeks away. And I'm very excited about it. It's been working tremendously, much more comments. It has been a very smart transition for me. I also added a monetizing aspect because I'm a businessman. I started a monthly newsletter that you can buy through Daily Grape, which is $4 a month. And that's been going extremely well as well.
After 1,000 episodes and an audience of about 90,000 daily viewers, Wine Library TV came to an end last year. Given Gary's instinct of constant renovation of his work, the end of Wine Library TV represented the beginning of Daily Grape, which is actually another video blog similar to the first one. But this time, it's a product users can buy as an application to their smartphones.
A lot of my business today is about me personally, with books and speaking and consulting. but I still have the wine business, and I recently retired from Wine Library TV and started something new called Daily Grape, which is an iPhone app where I do a 7-minute version of my old show, and so I continue to stay relevant in the wine world and do a lot of speaking and consulting on the social media world.
While developing the audience for Wine Library TV, Gary turned all of his efforts to the social web. He became an active member of blogs and forums and used Web 2.0 tools such as Facebook and Twitter to connect with consumers online. His show and his active participation on the web transformed him into an internet celebrity. But moreover, his active web participation seemed to be the key to keeping his business highly rentable.
I out-listened everybody. There's a site called Surmise.com that was later bought by Twitter that was absolutely instrumental in me being successful, because I would search Chardonnay, Rioja, Pinot Grigio, and things of that nature, and people would be talking, and I would answer. And that listening, that searching is what really drew me, because I would answer, then he'd be like, who's this guy? They'd look at my bio, and that would bring them into following me and becoming part of my community. That was the whole game. I used to spend 10 hours a day on search.twitter, searching wine terms and engaging with people. Conversation listening turns into relationship. When you create a relationship with a consumer, they buy your stuff. I'm not sitting here guessing that this is what's going to happen. I've been doing this for 6 years. I know when somebody asks what Merlot goes with, lamb, and I go in, Johnny, I'm a big fan of Millbrand Merlot from New Zealand, and I don't say go to Wine Library and buy it, or go watch my show and buy it. I just give an answer. Or what kind of lamb are you having? I'm just there as a service. I know what happens next is 2 or 3 months later, I go back and look, and he became a new customer. Maybe not that day, but a week or 2 or a month or later, because a relationship has been formed.
The business world took note of Gary's approach, and before long, he was being invited to appear as a social media expert and business consultant on TV shows, and to speak at conferences and corporations around the world. As Gary's career as a speaker and writer continued to soar, companies of varying sizes approached him for consulting advice. The consulting role agreed with him, and in 2009, Gary and his brother AJ co-founded VaynerMedia, an agency that works with personal brands, consumer brands, and startups, advising them on how to deal with internet platforms and Web 2.0 in order to achieve great results through online marketing.
VaynerMedia, in essence, is what I've been doing my whole life. I consulted my dad, in theory, right? The wine part was just what I was doing at that part of my career. Going back, it's not like I was doing baseball cards before I did wine. I was doing lemonade before I was doing baseball cards. I'm a salesman, I'm a marketer, I'm a business enthusiast. And so VaynerMedia came very naturally to me because I was building business in a new way that has not been done ever before, and I was one of the case studies, and I was one of the guys that was really executing, and I have business chops. I'm not a blogger or a journalist. I know how to walk into a big company and talk real business, and that's why it evolved, because when I would go in and consult for a couple hours here and there as people were hiring me, I realized I was very good. I realized that I could really help big businesses, not just a small family business, and the opportunity was substantial. Everybody's trying to figure this out. I have a very big brand, and that lends itself to clients coming to us. And more importantly, we've done such good work over the last 2 years, that word of mouth. Somebody works at a big company, they go work for another one, they're like, hey, those guys were good, and they bring you along. And so it's by executing and by having exposure.
Gary Vaynerchuk is also a New York Times best-selling author. His first book, called Crush It, figured as the #1 requested book at Amazon.com in the same week it was issued. Gary's last book was launched in March of 2011, and it's entitled The Thank You Economy. It calls out for the humanization of business and the need to strengthen the relationship between businesses and their customers using social media.
I came up with the idea because my last book, Crush It, sold so well, everybody was asking me how. We didn't do any traditional media. The same old story. I said, well, the thank you economy. And then I remembered saying that in an interview, and I said, well, let me remember that. It's about the ROI of paying first. What happens when you can pay first, give first, scalably, online, and what happens on the return. The reason Crush It sold so well is I answered so many emails, responded to so many tweets, put out so many free shows of Wine Library, that by the time my book came out, people were guilted into buying it. They felt like they had to buy it. And I think that's important, and I think that's the kind of relationship you have to. Again, I'll say it again, it's based on humans. If your brother or sister or mother and father called right now and asked you to do something, if they called right now, if we're taping this and you got a phone call and said, hey, I'm stuck, my car is broken down, can you pick me up right now? If it's your mother, you're picking her up. It's 100%. If it's your brother and sister, probably 100%. Best friend, 85%. Acquaintance, 25%. Stranger, you know, you pick up the phone and it's like, hello, weird number, can you help me? 0. I believe that it is every business's duty to go into the trenches of the social world and create context. You'll never be mother and father, but you can get to between acquaintance and best friend. And there's a lot of value in that. So I really tackled the ROI of caring and engaging and creating context.
Gary is now also an angel investor for various startups, offering sweat equity to the projects he supports, in addition to financial investments. An ambitious businessman, as well as a loyal fan, his ultimate goal is to one day own the New York Jets. Although it may seem like this young entrepreneur has done it all, he's not planning to stop innovating anytime soon. And when it comes to thinking of further projects, he has a rather instinctive way of doing it.
I'm a reactionary player. I look at the market and I adjust to it. I can never predict where I'm going. I thought I was going to build a huge wine business my whole life, and that was it. Sell it, thousands of stores, buy the Jets, and be done. I don't know. But what I know is this. I'm very good at understanding where things are going, and so if I see something, I'll execute.
It's common sense among business people, the entrepreneurial spirit. Either you have it, or you don't. Fortunately, all human beings have the ability to be creative and innovative.
Continuación, Business Champions, solo por Wobby. A continuación, Business Champions, solo por Wobby.